My name is Larissa. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make top part of the scrub cap. This is a scrub cap with pouch for hair and bias tape. I developed sewing pattern for this scrub cap myself. First, I print my sewing pattern, then I cut it out and tape it. To get your own copy of my sewing pattern, click the link above the video on the right. First, iron your fabric. For the top part, you need only one layer of fabric. Use your ruler to make sure that the grid on the sewing pattern is aligned with the edge of the fabric. Now trace all around it. Align the pouch part to the top part and trace around it. Then take the elastic tape guide, align it and trace around it also. Now it's time to cut your top part out. Use the sewing pattern to mark the places where pouch begins. Now we need to do some ironing before we start sewing. Start with the top part. Fold down 1/8 of an inch, about 1 inch up and down from the mark where the pouch starts. Then put pins to mark those places. On the bottom of the top part, fold down and iron about 1/4 of an inch. Next is elastic tape guide. Iron down seam allowance on all 4 sides of the elastic tape guide. Our next step is reinforcing the fold on the sides of the top part with zigzag stitch. Reinforce the fold with zigzag stitch on the other side of the top part also. To form a pouch, fold the top part right side in, leave seam allowance and align with pins. Start making straight stitch at the corner of the pouch. Go all the way to the edge of the pouch, then stop, turn your work around, remove your pins, change your settings to the zigzag and stitch back using zigzag stitch to the corner of the pouch. If there is excess fabric over your zigzag stitch, cut it off. Next, iron out your seam, flip your work over and align the elastic tape guide with the pin on the left and the edge of the pouch on the right. Make sure that you left seam allowance on both sides, on the left and on the right. Secure your elastic tape guide with pins. In the next step, we'll attach the elastic tape guide to the top part. Start stitching using zigzag stitch. Go all the way to the other side until you reach the short side. Then you will stop, turn your fabric, change your setting to the straight stitch, and make straight stitch outside of the short end. Once you turn your fabric around, you change to the zigzag stitch and start stitching all the way going to the other side. Once you reach the short side, you stop again, turn your fabric, then change to straight stitch and stitch outside of the short end to keep it open. Then you tie a knot and hide the ends of the thread between layers of fabric. Short ends of your elastic tape guide should be open. Align the short ends of the elastic tape guide together and pin them. Now you're ready to make a straight stitch to close the other side of the pouch. When you reach the edge of the pouch, stop, turn your work around, Switch your settings to zigzag and continue stitching back to the corner. In the next step, make a knot and cut the excess thread off. Cut off excess fabric above zigzag stitch. Both ends of your elastic tape guide should be open. Your top is ready.